Well, hello, my beautiful book besties. My name is Liv if you're new here. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to another fall vlog. Okay guys, it's honesty time. I have not picked up this camera in probably 2 weeks. I think I've been experiencing a little bit of burnout, and when I was sitting here thinking about it, I was like, I have been filming fall content since the very beginning of August, which means it's been 2 months of putting out fall content, and I'm like, no wonder I'm feeling a little bit of burnout. But also I was having the worst toothache for like 4 or 5 days, and I think it may have had to do with the weather change. You know, your sinuses are all crazy because it's getting cooler at night and then it's still warmer during the day. So I was also dealing with crazy sinus headaches for a couple days, and then also my work has just picked up and I might be moving up positions, which means I've been given more responsibility. So I've just had a bunch of different things happening. I was doing family fall photo shoots as well, which I still really enjoy. I have some returning clients that I've been shooting for like 5 years or so, and I just absolutely love them. So I've been editing pictures and just doing other life things to where I was like, oh, I should probably pick up my camera and say hi. Honestly, I feel like when I'm in a filming slump, the best thing for me to do is sometimes sit back and read a lot. But as you can imagine, because I haven't been filming or editing, I've actually read quite a few books lately. I've actually read 5 books that I thought would be really fun to start out this video and share with you, like some mini reviews. So in case you are waiting on someone to tell you, yes, these books were good, you should pick them up. Hopefully this is insightful or helpful for you. But I'm pretty sure in our last vlog, or the last video I was doing, I was still making my way through Rebecca Ross, because this is a chunky book. It's like 575 or 550 pages. If you can't tell from the tabs, I absolutely love this. I devoured it. It was incredible. Do I still recommend reading Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows before this? Yes and no. I actually at least recommend reading Divine Rivals before this one. You could read this in between, but the epilogue had me screaming, and I feel like you're just not going to be able to understand what that means or what's going on unless you have read Divine Rivals at least. This book was beautiful. It was a masterpiece. I have no notes. I cried probably twice. There was actually a character in this book that wasn't originally written into the story, which I actually find very interesting because the character weaved so much emotion into the story that I feel like it wouldn't have had without him. It might have had to do something with the narrators or just the way that the story was written, or maybe I just pictured the gods like up in the sky, kind of like floating around, but something about this book felt otherworldly. As I was reading it, it just felt like you were kind of like floating through it. It was atmospheric. It was kind of hard to visualize in some parts. There's a place called the Wasteland that I just kept thinking about, like Dune. I truly don't know how to describe this book, but just know it was a 6 out of 5 star read for me. It's probably gonna end up being on my top 5 of the year for sure. The story was just so unique with like the zodiac and the constellations, and typically that's not something I'm intrigued by, but if you love mythology or Greek mythology, which again, I typically don't, but something about this was just absolutely incredible. Chef's kiss. This is like a top shelf favorites book of all time now. A Land So Wide, on the other hand, was something I was not expecting. First of all, my biggest qualm was the end. It was very rushed, very fast paced, and I feel like the first half of this book was very slow. There was a lot of build up and I was really enjoying that. It's kind of like creepy village vibes where you have this like commune of people that are surrounded by woods, and there's all these myths that have to do with the woods and creatures. But then at the end just kind of lost me a little bit. There's also a relationship that I really wanted to see reconciled by the end of this, but it just ended very abruptly. Like, I don't know, something about this did not exactly feel like Erin A. Craig. The darkness and the horror and some of the things that happen in this definitely felt like her, but the overall story, it kind of felt like a retelling of some kind. I don't know exactly how to put this book into words. I wasn't completely sold on the love love interest, and I don't know, it was interesting. But also I feel like this isn't a very memorable book in comparison to her other ones. I feel like people are either gonna love this or they're gonna absolutely hate it, honestly. I definitely flew through this, like it was very fast paced, there was not a dull moment. But again, I was like flipping through to the end and I was like, this cannot be the end. There was a pretty good twist, I will admit that. It was just okay. So I did land on a 4-star. I don't think this is her strongest book, but again, it was still really entertaining and very unique. This next book, just I look at the cover and it instantly makes me smile. I was 10% through this on my Kindle and immediately knew I needed a paperback copy, and at the time I knew this was coming out, there was no hard copy of this book that was being sold anywhere, and I was like, how? This is one of the prettiest romance covers I've ever seen, and I actually have not seen many people talk about this, which is absolutely absurd because this is one of my all-time favorite romances now. I think it is up there. It has all the tropes I love, all of the fall vibes you could want. I just can't gatekeep this book any longer because it's absolutely incredible. Drawn Together by Juliana Smith. There's You've Got Mail vibes at a bookstore. It's New York fall setting. We have our main girl who has a roommate that's kind of quirky, so you have their kind of relationship. Fletcher is her neighbor and actually someone that is very familiar with like the horror literature genre, and so when our main character Flora is trying to get this job for a horror author and she's trying to illustrate for him, Fletcher's trying to help her gain insight into the horror genre. So they have a book club together, they annotate each other's books. There's also so much depth to this story. There's so much more surrounding their romance. Once you find out like what this title means, there is multiple meanings for it. It is absolutely incredible. I will say that there are some sad topics in this book, so definitely look up the content warnings if you want to. I feel like one of them is kind of like a big spoiler, but if you're the type of person that really wants to know going in, I would definitely look up the content for this. And it's funny because I've seen baggage claim by this author before and I just didn't make the connection until recently. There's also no spice in this book, and I feel like when there's no spice in a book, that just leaves so much more room for depth and a realistic type of relationship. There was no like crazy miscommunication trope or anything that made me frustrated or angry. This was just so incredible and real, and I fell in love. I mean, how can you not fall in love with these two? The author also put in references like Twilight and I think Taylor Swift and just so many other pop culture things that I personally love. I just could not get enough of this. So I feel like this is going to be one that I even reread every single fall. So if this is not on your radar, please let this be one of the top romances you read this year. I've read a couple other ones and they just have not hit quite as hard. Absolutely incredible. 6 out of 5 stars. The next book that is still very fresh in my brain, this is my October Patreon book club pick. It is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I've been seeing a lot of great positive reviews. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe some more like divided reviews. When I say I could not put this book down, I lost sleep over it, and that has not happened to me in a very long time. And the reason for that being is the first half of this book, yes, Stephanie Garber is known to write fantasy, but apparently she's a mystery thriller author now because this was so suspenseful. I had no idea what was gonna happen. I was on the edge of my seat the entire ride of this book, and not only that, we are getting a show or a movie adaptation from the producer of Vampire Diaries. That already sounds so incredibly promising. So much about this I loved. If you are not a fantasy person, I feel like you could still love this, especially if you're a mystery thriller person. I will say the ending made me a little bit frustrated. It left me with more questions than answers. There is so many layers and things that we're constantly finding out throughout every single chapter. Stephanie Garber, I was not expecting this. I was expecting a little bit of the darker vibes. I will say I was a little bit skeptical when she started talking about the devil. That's not typically something I gravitate towards, but by the end, it just yeah, if you've read it, you know. So reading this just made me want to read another mystery thriller, and something that has had me very curious that is out of the normal than what I typically read is a translated work called Strange Houses. This book looks so intriguing. I mean, I feel like anybody would see this on the shelf at a bookstore and be like, oh, I don't even know where to start. This was one of the weirdest yet most unique books that I just do not know how to rate. The Japanese know how to do horror, let me tell you. But I will also say the first half of this read very like mystery thriller. Almost on every page we're finding something new about the floor plan of this house. And essentially we have this journalist who has a friend that is wanting to buy this house. And the person that wants to buy this house is very confused by what the floor plan looks like. And so the author or the journalist asks his friend, who's an architect, like, hey, this floor plan looks a little weird. Why is there this dead space? Like, what would this be used for? Why is there no windows on the outside of the house? Like, there's just some weird things going on. I will say the ending, I don't know if the right word would be like convoluted or just, I don't know. This is very much rooted in Japanese, I guess, myths or traditions or religion, I guess you could say, without giving too much away. It did make me unsettled and a little bit uncomfortable at times because we constantly had different things we were uncovering on almost every page. This was like a 2-hour read, you guys. So I feel like if you want to try it out and you hate it, you're not really wasting a lot of time. But I have never had something where I've had visuals in front of me and I'm figuring out the mystery with the narrator themselves. So this was just such a unique experience. I know he's also written Strange Pictures, and then Strange Buildings is gonna come next. So this definitely had me intrigued to want to read the other two, but it's definitely not something that's in my regular comfortable genre. But I feel like for fall, for October, for spooky season, like it was a good time. So we have a very big variety of 2, 3 fantasy, a romance, a mystery horror thriller. I have definitely been all over with my reading taste and mood lately, but it has just been so much fun to set the camera aside and just read for myself again. So if you've been considering picking up one of these books, hopefully these like mini reviews kind of helped you decide if you want to prioritize them this fall. What I'm currently reading, I actually only have one book on the docket for this week that I would love to fly through. I'm already really enjoying it, and I don't know if it's like that 5-star feeling right up front, which is a little bit disappointing, but we are gonna push through. I am about 60 pages into The Late Night Witches by Orly Wallace. I read In the Company of Witches, 5 stars, absolutely loved it, and this has just a very different feeling, kind of gimmicky and humorous, but also you can tell there's going to be some deep stuff that happens by the end of this book. This takes place on Prince Edward Island. We're following our main character Cassie, who I think is in her 40s, early 40s. She has 2 twins that are young and then an older teenage daughter. It's taking place around Halloween, but then her sister Eliza shows up out of nowhere. They kind of have like a strained relationship, and her sister and her boyfriend just broke up. Well, then her boyfriend's in trouble, and then they have to go save him. Something with a vampire is already happening, and they're acting like it's normal, so I don't really know what to think about that. This so far is not necessarily giving off cozy, but it's giving a good, entertaining time. So this is the book that we're going to be reading this week. I may be able to fit in a second book before this video's over, but I'm not sure what I'm going to pick out next, so stay tuned for that. Well, hello friends, I am back from the apple orchard. I went to an orchard in North Carolina about an hour away yesterday with my mom and my two youngest sisters. I do have another sister. She wasn't able to come, but we just had the best time ever. I feel like I was totally caught up in the moment and just kind of forgot to take some footage. So I will share with you, or did share with you, what I got. Also, they had the best barbecue I have ever had. Like, I could eat that every day and never complain. It was incredible. They also have the best sparkling cider. We picked like a bushel or a bucket of, I think, Gold Bond and Red Cameo apples. I can't remember exactly the names, but we're gonna make an apple cobbler here very shortly with those apples because they were so tasty. They were so sweet and crunchy. As much as everybody loves pumpkin, honestly, in the fall, I think I gravitate more towards apple stuff. And I'm like, why do we not have apple year round? Because it's like one of the most basic fruits. It was fun just to walk around and get out. I took the day off work, so I just was able to have something fall to look forward to because here in South Carolina, it is still like 80-85 degrees, and I just wanted something that felt like fall. It definitely looked like fall. As we were driving up the mountain, it was such beautiful colors, and God's creation is just absolutely incredible, and it was just the best day. Look at this girl. She is literally my baby. You're my baby, aren't you? Thank you for the paw. But before we get into any reading updates, I have some fun fall items that I really wanted to share with you guys. You know, I don't scream about how much I love things and support things unless I'm absolutely obsessed with them. I think I've shared some of this stuff over on Instagram, but I had to share it here with you on YouTube because it deserves a place here on the tube as well. First of all, can we just appreciate this I Am an Autumn sweatshirt from darling Desi? I buy a sweatshirt from her every single year, but this might have to be the last year because I'm pretty sure I own one in every color that she offers. But this burgundy red color just seemed perfect for my color hair, and I'm already obsessed. The detailing on this with the little like sunflowers. Desi amazes me every single year because the quality of her sweatshirts just keeps getting better. Like, I think this year she has adjusted the bottom of the sweatshirt to not be as cinched in, and I can definitely tell this is a looser fit, which I personally gravitate towards. So anyways, absolutely obsessed with this. Desi, you've outdone yourself once again. The next sweatshirt I think is my new favorite thing of all time. This is such a unique piece of clothing that my friend Bailey from Next Chapter Shop sent me, and I am just fully obsessed with this. This is so cool. Okay, we have kind of like this heathered type of sweatshirt, which I'm not actually sure if you guys can see very well from the quality of this camera, but it's a very soft oatmeal color. Look at this reader embroidery detail. You guys, are you actually serious? It's like this beautiful brown, fall brown color around the neckline, and then my favorite thing is it's business up front, as I like to say, and party in the back. On the right side has another embroidered thing, and it says book lover on it. Are you kidding me? And even though this is giving off fancier sweater vibes, I will say that the inside is this perfectly soft material where it feels like your favorite worn sweatshirt. So you could dress this up, you could dress this down, you could put a Peter Pan collar underneath this with some jeans, or you could just wear it around your house with leggings, which is probably what I will do because, again, work from home girly. This is oversized. I think I got an extra large, and even though it is a little oversized, it's not too long in the arms, which I really appreciate. So Bailey from Next Chapter, thank you so much for sending this my way. I've been obsessed with Bailey and her shop for a while. She even gave me a code. You can get a discount. I'll leave all the details in the description below as per usual, but this just wow. Not to mention, she sent me this really cute, really thick, great quality blue bookmark. It just says Next Chapter on the front, and then the back it says for the readers, dreamers, and make believers. Definitely gonna be using this. And then my friend Ashley from the Cozy Peach Co. She and I are like neighbor states, and I am obsessed with her bookstagram and just everything she creates. And I always somehow forget that she has a Bookish shop. So she wanted to send me some of her favorite things that are now my favorite things. So obsessed with her bookmarks. These are the different bookmarks she sent me. We have like a fall sweater one. We have Yale for Gilmore Girls. She even gave me Life of a Showgirl from Taylor Swift. Obsessed. This cute little pink one with some florals. We have some pumpkins and a witch hat on this one. The cute little boots and color palette. We have a Hocus Pocus one, and then of course another fall one. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I think this might be from Halloween Town. Also, what I love is they are printed on the back, which you don't typically see. She sent me this cute little gold bow Kindle charm that I'm so stoked to use. This is just so dainty and pretty and will go with any of my other Kindle cases. And she sent me some stickers, which I'm freaking out over. These are just so precious. Oh my gosh. These stickers are like my vibe. They're all light and dainty and pastel, which is so cute. I love her art style, and I love this little cake. It says Spooky Girly, and so cute. So cute. Again, I do have a code if you guys are interested in checking her out. I highly recommend Ashley because she's just so personable. I've never gotten a good quality like this from anybody else that I've shopped from, and I'm being genuine when I say that. So Ashley, you're the sweetest person. Thank you so much for sending all of these cute things my way that I will treasure forever. I could literally keep going on and on forever, but I promise this is the last person that I wanted to shout out. Her name is Kaya, and she owns the Fablewood Goods Co. or Little Shop on Instagram. I think she sells on Etsy as well, but she is one of the sweetest people. She reached out to me and she was like, do you want to do a giveaway like collaboration? And I was like, absolutely. And that collaboration did so well. We were both so impressed, but like honestly, I'm not surprised because she is so talented. These are probably my favorite bookish items that I own. Hands down, no question about it. Most of her items are Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, which I feel like is hard to come by. It's a little bit more niche, but The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is just so timeless and I will never get tired of it. But these embroidered bookmarks, you guys, are you serious? This is Sting, and this is just like a little fall hobbit hole. Are you kidding me? These are like real fabric, like really thick bookmarks. Like the quality is absolutely insane. Do you know how many stitches that is just on one bookmark? I am so impressed, and I'm so glad that I found her shop because I literally want to buy everything that she sells now because it's this good. Everybody needs to follow Kaya. She's just amazing, absolutely amazing. She also has some cute magnetic bookmarks, which I love. I love mushrooms. I think they're so cute. So I have 2 of these little magnetic bookmarks that are printed on the front and the back, of course. And then we have the moth from the Lord of the Rings. And then she also gave me a couple stickers, of course. I'm obsessed with stickers. I honestly really would love to start a sticker journal. I'm the type of person that's a perfectionist and I never want to use my stickers because I don't know what the heck to do with them. But look how cute the chair. This one's probably my favorite. We have the Shire, and then we have some more mushrooms that look like the bookmarks and the moth as well. But I think my favorite item that I've already been using is this cup. You guys, she sells these glass coffee cups. Look how freaking cute this is. There's the pumpkin and some fireworks, and then she also has different color and straw options. She has kind of more of like the crazy straws, the orange green, and then we have a clear one, so they go perfectly obviously with the cup. I'm obsessed, you guys. I'm fully obsessed with all of these items. These bookmarks I'm going to be using until the end of time. Okay, so now on to our little reading update. I did end up finishing The Late Night Witches, I think 2 days ago. Last time we talked, I was feeling kind of iffy about it. It's definitely different than what I expected. I guess I thought it would be a little bit more like funny or humorous or lighthearted. It was pretty serious, but also had some like quirky fun moments. But there was just a lot of like matter-of-fact statements or humor that's not necessarily like my type of humor. Maybe I was just misunderstanding the way this was written, but I will say the plot picked up halfway through. We kind of got some layers of what what the vampires were, so I'm not going to spoil too much with that, but there was some really good moments where we got a lot more information and I was really starting to enjoy it a lot more. But again, I feel like by the end, this book overall sadly just wasn't as memorable as I wanted it to be. It definitely read very different from In the Company of Witches. Like, yes, it was kind of the same style of writing, the same emotions, but there was something just lacking or missing for me where I feel like I kind of want to give this a 3.75, maybe a 4. And it's not because I'm not really a vampire person. I just feel like this book didn't do anything for me. This book and also Rewitched, which I recently finished, had some similar themes, and I feel like Rewitched just did it a lot better, where you could kind of see the outcome of the character finally believing in themselves and their power, and it was just carried out better in Rewitched than this one. And I know they're completely different books. I did love the sibling dynamic. There was a very little romance, which I actually appreciated, but I honestly wasn't expecting. I thought there'd be some more romance, but that's okay because I prefer things to read more fantasy anyways. Would I recommend this book? I think so. I think it was a really fun time. I listened to most of it on audio, and maybe that had to do something with my rating, but the narrator was really good. I've heard her narrate other things. I don't know if I just wanted more like quirky, lighthearted moments or more vampire moments. The way the vampire was described in this book is he had like a big nose and he was bald and he had like a lip piercing or earrings or something. She either needed to go super quirky or go more serious. The balance between the two just wasn't working for me, unfortunately, with this one. And honestly, I thought this was going to be like a favorite read of fall, but I don't know if that's the case. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I was like, what in the world do I feel like reading next? Because I need something that's just going to hit and be super spooky, but I know I'm going to love. I decided to go ahead and pick up Wisteria by Adeline Grace. I didn't start this book quite yet. I had to go back and rewatch a recap of Foxglove because I couldn't remember exactly what happened in the second book. I'm not going to finish this book in this vlog, unfortunately, because then it would go on forever. Adeline Grace is incredible, and if I can push her books anymore and sway you to get into this series this fall, of course I'm gonna mention it. So you need to pick up Belladonna. It's absolutely incredible. The mystery, the gothic spooky vibes, the romance, like the way it's written, the suspense, the layers of family drama, like there's so much in this series to love. And I really needed to read this before Holly because I want to read Holly in December around Christmas, obviously. Thank you for listening to me ramble about some of my favorite things. I hope you guys look up these small businesses because I'm obsessed with them. I'm going to be purchasing from them in the future. So I hope you guys check out their business. But now we are going to go make ourselves an apple cobbler because I have a big bag of apples on my counter that needs to be eaten before they go bad. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going, put that in the oven, and then hopefully we can get more into Wisteria together. cozy in my PJs, and before I fall asleep to this wonderful fireplace and my woodwick candle, I thought I would say thank you for watching this video. And also, the apple cobbler was 10 out of 10. I actually added a little bit of extra lemon juice to the recipe and it was phenomenal. I feel like that really set off the salty and the sweet, so it wasn't like overly sweet. Like, yeah, there's still a ton of sugar. You guys saw how much sugar was in that. I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell the difference between what was real butter and what was vegan, even if you're not vegan. I definitely recommend this recipe. I will leave it in the description. It's gonna take me a little while to eat through it, but there's nothing better than picking your own apples and making something from them, because it's just a whole different vibe, and the apples were so much better than store-bought. Definitely recommend. I also have been listening to some of the audiobook for Ravenfall by Kaylin Josephson, and I've had this on my TBR for like 3 or 4 years now. So I started listening to the first couple chapters and I'm already invested. I feel like this is just gonna be a fun little audio when I want to diamond paint, when I'm cleaning or doing chores or whatever. And then I am not that far into wisteria. I am absolutely loving being back in this world. It's literally perfect for fall. I'm reading the most perfect fall reads, eating and drinking the most perfect fall sweet treats, and it's just a really good week. So I hope you guys enjoyed another fall vlog. I just hope you're having the coziest season. This is probably going to be my last fall vlog, at least of October, because I really just want to embrace the cozy season and all the fun fall things and the weather getting cooler. I just really want to start slowing down a little bit before the holidays amp up again. I hope you guys are giving yourself so much grace for the busy seasons, taking care of yourself, and I just really appreciate you being here. So thank you for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you later.